So Insta360 just dropped a brand new smartphone gimbal. This is the Insta360 Flow 2. Now this is not to be confused with another smartphone gimbal that they recently just dropped. This is the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, and this is their highest tiered smartphone gimbal. But they somehow managed to keep most of the Pro features in here and pass them down to this budget-friendly Flow 2. So that naturally begs the question, what is now the best budget-friendly mobile gimbal that you can buy if you're just getting into any kind of mobile content creation or content creation in general? So in this video, I'm going to be comparing the brand new Insta360 Flow 2 to another really popular smartphone gimbal. This is the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P. So first up, let's talk about price, because let's be honest, that's going to be the main determining factor for a lot of people, and that's really going to drive their purchasing decision for what smartphone gimbal they're going to pick up. So the new Flow 2 with the AI tracker comes out to $129.99 USD, and the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P with its tracking module comes out to $149 US. Now with both of these gimbals, you do have the option to purchase a mic package, and in my opinion, you should definitely do that if you're able to afford to do so, because in my opinion, audio is definitely more important than video. With the Flow 2, you can get the Insta360 Mic Air, which comes with a mic and a transmitter and some accessories, which will run you about $199 US. And with the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P, you can get the DJI Mic Mini, which will run you about $208 US, a difference of about $10. When it comes to audio, I do think the DJI Mic Mini does have an advantage. You get a receiver, and the mic is a little bit more fleshed out since DJI has had a little bit more experience in audio products. Now both gimbals have a ton in common. They both have tripod legs for you to set them down, and they have extendable selfie sticks, and they both have these magnetic MagSafe quick mounts, which I love, and it's my favorite way to use these gimbals. I only have one for my Insta360 gimbal though, but DJI also sells one now. But that's what they have in common. Let's talk about what's actually different between these gimbals and actually sets them apart when using them. Now for me personally, the biggest reason to buy one of these smartphone gimbals in 2025 is the incredible tracking capabilities that they have. And this is where Insta360 really starts to set themselves apart in this tracking department. Now if you're going to be tracking yourself just a few meters away, you're not going to have any trouble with either of these gimbals. But with the Insta360 Flow 2 and this tracking module, you can continue to track yourself easily even if you're more than 10 meters away, which is an awesome distance. Now I found that the DJI one does struggle when you get past this 10-meter threshold, whereas the Flow 2 does keep up. So that's something you're going to be doing with tracking. Is just something to keep in mind. If you're going to be tracking just a couple of meters away, both of these gimbals are going to perform exactly the same. With the Insta360, you can also track additional subjects like animals, which isn't yet available on the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P. It also has multi-person tracking, which it borrows from the Flow 2 Pro, which I thought was a pretty cool feature. It lets you track a group of people, keeping them all in frame, and you can select who you want the main subject or the priority of the tracking to be. And my favorite tracking feature is the active zoom tracking, also carried forward from the Flow 2 Pro. This allows you to track subjects when zoomed in. You do need to have it on the tripod leg so it's stable, but this is awesome. And I think the active zoom tracking actually has a ton of really good use cases. So let's just say you're a parent and you want to track your child playing soccer. You can easily do that with the bleachers and just really focus the tracking on them the whole time, instead of just getting a really wide shot of the field, which kind of ends up being useless in the long run. One of the best features in my opinion that the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro had was NFC connectivity, and somehow they've managed to carry this forward into the Flow 2. So if you have an NFC enabled device, you can easily connect to it by just tapping and using that NFC chip inside of the Flow 2, and just like that, you're all set up and ready to go. No lengthy connection process, which is always really appreciated whenever you're working with a tool like this and you need to start filming really quickly. Now it is important to know that you're not going to get the same functionality that you would on the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro with that NFC connectivity. With the Flow 2 Pro, you're able to track yourself in any camera app using Apple Dock Kit on an iPhone, and you're not going to be able to do that using the Flow 2. You do need this AI tracking module, and obviously that just makes sense. Insta360 is not going to cannibalize their Pro product line. This is not a part of their Pro product line, but it is still really appreciated that they provided that NFC connectivity to help us get set up really quickly. Both of the tracking modules on both gimbals work incredibly similarly. You just simply hold out your palm to start tracking, and the light will change from red to green, indicating that it's now tracking you, and then you do the same palm motion to stop it, and then it's gonna stop tracking you. Works very similarly and pretty much identical. However, Insta360 does allow you to control your gimbal in another way, and that's using another smartphone to remotely control your gimbal. I can see how that can be a useful niche use case, but honestly, it's not something that I would really find myself using too often. And again, this is aimed at a budget market. So assuming that someone is on a budget and they're just starting filmmaking and content creation, they likely only have one smartphone, but nevertheless, it's a cool feature that they carried forward from the Flow 2 Pro. Now, as a content creator, editing has always been a pain, and this is where I feel like where Insta360 really excels and DJI still has a lot of work to do. With the Flow 2, you do get access to the Insta360 app and all of the creative tools that they feature within that app. And since day one, Insta360 has made editing and getting professional effects within their apps really easy. They have step-by-step guides. They tell you exactly what to do, and they do all of the editing and AI processing to get you the results that you see in the preview for those effects, which I think is incredible. So as a new content creator, I want to be able to jump in and get really cool effects and transitions and things like that without having to really put in much work. And I think Insta360 really excels in doing that. So for me, if I was to go out and buy something and I knew that this could edit for me and provide effects that I can't do on myself or don't know how to do yet, that would be a huge selling point and a massive bonus. Okay, now something you have the option to purchase with the Insta360 Flow 2 is this really cool item, which is not really relevant to the comparison, but it's called a Throwpod. And it's a super quick deployable tripod, monopod, whatever you want to call it. And honestly, I would get this regardless of what gimbal you buy. Heck, I would even get this even if you don't buy either of the smartphone gimbals. I think this is going to become a staple for BTS content, and I'm going to be taking this everywhere with me just because it's so easy to use. You can deploy it so quickly, and it has that 1/4 inch screw or 3/4 inch screw or whatever, so you can put any kind of tripod mount or anything like that on this. You could even just get a mount for your smartphone and put it on this. But yeah, this is my favorite thing ever. If you don't get anything else out of this video, definitely just go buy the Throwpod. It's literally my new favorite product when it comes to mobile and BTS filmmaking. Obviously, that brings us to our concluding question: which of these two smartphone gimbals should you buy? In my opinion, you can't really go wrong with either of them, but if tracking or active zoom tracking is something that you're looking for, go with the Insta360 Flow 2. I do think it's better overall at tracking. If audio is your preference and you want to focus on that, I do think the DJI Mic Mini is definitely better than the Insta360 Mic Air, and they just have more ecosystem uses across the DJI products. In that case, go with the DJI Osmo Mobile 7P. Again, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one, and until then, keep creating.